Israel's National Security Advisor has indicated that the war against Hezbollah is likely after the Israeli military eliminates Hamas. He further asserted how the situation in North must be changed to make sure that the residents of the North are no longer displaced in their land. The latest warning by Israel's National Security Advisor comes a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned of turning Beirut into Gaza. And on the latest statement by the Israeli NSA, we earlier spoke to Alon Bastin, who is a visiting assistant professor and an Israel Institute fellow in the Department of Political Science at the University of California. We asked Bastin on the imminent threat of a multi-front war. This is what he had to say.
Well, Israel is very fearful that Hezbollah was going to enter the war with Hamas, and Hamas mounted a lot of pressure on Hezbollah to join the war on October 7th, and I think that everyone's a little bit surprised that Hezbollah did not join the war. And there's all kinds of thoughts and intelligence on why that may be, and the reason is likely that Hezbollah is scared that it'll drag Lebanon into a war that will then make it lose favor in Lebanon. But in Israel, there is this growing fear that there appeared to be previously this sense of security, the sense that Hezbollah and Hamas train a lot on the border, but really they're never going to attack Israel. All they can do is launch missiles. October 7th blew up in Israel's face and showed, no, the fact that these organizations are constantly training means they can invade one day.
Meanwhile, Israel's National Security Advisor also outlined the fear regarding Hezbollah's Radwan forces, which is capable of crossing the border within minutes and starting a murderous rampage in northern communities. A similar style of attack, which was spearheaded by the Hamas militant group on October 7th.
Very much fears that attack. I think Hezbollah has lost the element of surprise. What Hamas really had on October 7th was a vast element of surprise. And that's one of the reasons that Hezbollah likely will not do that in the coming days. But what Israel is trying to indicate is, let's say that the war with Gaza is over, either through defeating Hamas somehow or some sort of ceasefire or something is over. The idea that Israel can just go back and civilians can go back and expect to live peacefully near the border with Lebanon is not realistic. Now, there is already, dating back to 2006, a UN resolution 1701, that says that Hezbollah cannot maintain its forces south of the Litani River, i.e. it is supposed to be pushed farther back in Lebanon. So what Israel is trying to say is it wants a diplomatic solution, and it wants Hezbollah away from the border, trying to imply Lebanon can do this, maybe other forces can do this, maybe UNIFIL can do this. If not, then Israel will have to do this.
Israel has said that it does not want to fight simultaneously on two fronts, but made it clear that if Hezbollah remains a dangerous threat, then it will not have any choice but to impose a new reality in the north.
Israel has invaded Lebanon several times, and back in 1982, it actually took over most of Lebanon and tried to even install a president and have a peace treaty with Lebanon. That obviously did not work. But I think what they're trying to say is that right now the region is really poised to explode. There's Iranian militias in Lebanon and in Syria and in Iraq and in Yemen, and all of them are threatening that if this war escalates further and further, it's going to explode. I think what they're trying to say is that Israel's not going to be willing to go back to a situation where it just lives the way it was and pretends that there is not this Iranian threat from the north. So something has to change as far as Israel is concerned with that equation. It's possible that what they're indicating is that it will be an all-out regional war, that Israel will be willing to, tear off all the gloves and take over Lebanon in order to try to impose a new reality.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.